Hey, so today we're diving into this really sticky, kind of uncomfortable question that keeps coming up whenever people talk about creativity, artists, and like the whole myth of the tortured genius. It's this idea that artists need trauma, like real, painful, soul crushing trauma, if they ever want to make good art. And not yeah, it's a little dark. But let's talk about it because it's everywhere. It's in movies and biographies and those moody black and white photos of poets who look like they haven't slept since 1972. It's like we've collectively decided that suffering is the ticket to artistic greatness. So, is it? Do you actually need trauma to make great art, or is that just another romantic myth that keeps artists stuck? Let's break it down. And let's be honest about it. Okay, so first things first, why do we even believe this idea in the first place? I mean, think of the people we idolize. Van Gogh cutting off his ear, Sylvia Plath, Kurt Cobain, Frida Kahlo living in chronic pain. It's like a highlight reel of suffering. And yeah, that stuff is real. They did go through terrible things, but we forget something. We forget that we only hear about the artists whose trauma became part of their story. We don't hear about the quiet, stable painters who had happy marriages and ate oatmeal every morning and still made beautiful work. Those people are not as narratively interesting, so they don't become myths. And trauma, well, it makes for a dramatic biography. Humans love a good storyline. Person suffers and creates masterpiece, and then person becomes a legend. It feels poetic. There's a sense of destiny in it, but is that the same as saying trauma causes the art? I mean, maybe not, but we kind of pretend it does because pain is loud. Pain is visible. Pain makes artists feel serious. And honestly, we've glamorized it. We've turned the suffering artist into a character. Tragic, misunderstood, brooding in a dimly lit studio at 2 a.m., like as if therapy ruins your brushstrokes, right? But yeah, that's not how humans actually work. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. There's a difference between having trauma and being able to transform trauma into something meaningful. Those are not the same thing. Lots of people go through painful things. Most don't turn it into art because trauma doesn't automatically give you insight or a voice or a style. Trauma just hurts. It's not like you go through heartbreak and bam, suddenly you can paint like Picasso. No, usually you just cry and listen to sad playlists and question all your life choices. The people who turn pain into art have something else. They have the ability to process it, to observe themselves, to express what they see, to shape the experience into something shareable. And honestly, that's a skill, not a wound. Artists don't create because they're traumatized. They create because they're aware of their trauma. That's a huge difference. It's not the pain that creates the art, it's the introspection. Which means, wait for it, you don't actually need trauma. You need the ability to see deeply. And you can see deeply without being emotionally destroyed. Like, really. You don't have to suffer to be profound. But why does trauma show up so much in art? Then, good question, because yeah, it does show up. And there are a few reasons why. That's because trauma forces introspection. Pain makes you ask questions. It makes you look at your life more closely. It breaks the autopilot. Art thrives on that kind of attention. Trauma gives strong emotions, and big emotions are like fuel. They're raw, they're intense. When someone is hurt, abandoned, betrayed, grieving. They feel things in high definition. Art is often a response to intensity. Also, trauma creates urgency. When you're suffering, you want relief. You want meaning. You want a way to translate what's happening into something you can hold. Art becomes a form of survival. But again, that's not the same as trauma being required. It just means trauma can push someone to create. But so can joy. So can curiosity. So can wonder, boredom, confusion, love, friendship, spirituality, nature, like literally anything human. We don't question happy inspiration because it doesn't look deep, but depth doesn't belong to pain alone. Okay, so here's the part that makes me go, we really need to talk about this. Believing that trauma equals great art can actually harm artists because it romanticizes suffering. It turns pain into a creative aesthetic instead of something that hurts real people. And it makes artists think they need to stay miserable. Like, oh, if I get better, if I heal, will my creativity disappear? And that sucks. It traps people. It discourages artists who haven't been traumatized. Some artists think their stable childhood or decent life disqualifies them from making something meaningful. Which is wild. Like, since when does art have a trauma prerequisite? Also, it excuses bad behavior. Some artists are awful human beings, and we let them get away with it because, oh, they're tortured. No, you're not allowed to be cruel because you painted something cool. Also, it keeps the stereotype alive, and the stereotype isolates people. It makes them feel like if they aren't suffering enough, they're not serious artists, which is absurd. You don't have to bleed to be valid. Let's be real. What makes art resonate isn't the suffering, it's the truth. Truth is what people connect with. Truth is what cuts through. And truth can come from joy, connection, curiosity, wonder, grief, love, confusion, fear, nostalgia, longing, anger, or literally a conversation you had at a coffee shop. Art comes from paying attention. If trauma helps someone pay attention. Okay. If joy helps someone else pay attention. Also okay. Depth doesn't require damage, it requires awareness. Okay, I'm not going to dump a research paper on you, but here's something kind of interesting. Studies on creativity show that it's linked to divergent thinking, associative thinking, emotional flexibility, memory integration, openness to experience. None of these require trauma. In fact, trauma often reduces creativity because it causes rumination, anxiety, fear responses, cognitive shutdown, depression. Trauma creates tunnel vision. Art requires mental space. Trauma can be transformed into art only when someone has the capacity, the tools, or the support to process it. Healing creates that space. Pain does not. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the big ones. There are artists whose pain clearly shaped their work. But look closely. They didn't create because of trauma alone. They created because they had training, discipline, imagination, obsession, dedication, time, technique, resilience, support, or sheer stubbornness. Like, honestly, trauma didn't mix their paints or write their poems for them. They did. Trauma might have given them something to talk about, but the art came from them, not the wound. We confuse the source of emotion with the source of ability. They're not the same. Okay, so here's the nuanced part. Pain changes people. It really does. Trauma can deepen your empathy, make you more observant, strip away shallow concerns, give you emotional vocabulary, make you see the world with sharper edges. These qualities can help art. But here's something no one talks about. So can love. So can safety. So can friendship. So can healing. Being supported can open you. Being loved can soften you. Being safe can give you freedom. You don't need a tragic origin story. You just need a reason to create. So if trauma isn't required, what is? Here's a better formula. Curiosity plus honesty plus emotional awareness plus skill plus time equals art. Pain might play a role sometimes, but it's not the generators. It's just one possible ingredient. Think of it like this. Trauma is a color on the palette, but it's not the whole painting. You can make incredible work without touching it. And you can make incredible work with it if you choose to, but it shouldn't own you. It shouldn't pressure you. And it definitely shouldn't be the reason you stay stuck. Instead of, do I need trauma? Maybe the better question is, what do I feel deeply enough to express? That's where your art comes from. Not the event, not the wound, but the emotion underneath it. Some people feel deeply because they've suffered. Some because they've loved fiercely. Some because they observe the world closely. Some because they're sensitive by nature. Some because they're curious. Some because they're imaginative. There is no one path to depth. Okay, this part is important. If you're someone who has been through hard things, you're not broken. You're not doomed. You're not a cliche. And you're not obligated to turn your pain into art. But you can if you want to. Art can be healing, it can be grounding, it can help you understand yourself. It can give your experiences shape and meaning. Just remember, your trauma is not your talent. Your art belongs to you, not your wounds.